What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into another edition, a Friday morning edition of the Daily Juice podcast with me, Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Sports Talk Matt, YouTube for the video with BettingPros, audio wherever you get your audio podcasts. And what a time to use the BetMGM offer, always above me here on YouTube. $10 offer to get $150 on any event where BetMGM is available. It's not available in Nevada, not BetMGM Nevada, BetMGM everywhere else. Use that promo code JUICE150 at sign up with your new account in those BetMGM states. You get $150 with a $10 bet. All right, so we have currently a 3-2 mark in the books for the first day of the dance. We're waiting on the Golden Knights and the Panthers. We bet moneyline Panthers. If that comes in, Knights are winning 3-2 to start the third period, though. But if that comes in, it's a winning day. If not, it's a losing day. But I'll take the 3-2 mark with the tournament here, combining that with yesterday's 3-1 mark, and it's not a bad little 2-day stretch for us here. So, okay, so we go to a Friday. Here's what we're gonna do. I've already given you 5 bets. I'm not gonna go over them again. Go back and listen to the March Madness Spectacular from Monday if you want the plays for the 5 plays that we've got going on. I do have a play for you in the NBA. I do have a play for you, an additional play that we'll add on here to our card for the dance on Friday. And we have the Don't Bet a Parlay, which hit last week, is now 2-6 since coming back 8 weeks ago. 2-6 is up 600 or 6 units. $600, 6 units. If you're betting $100 on it, you shouldn't be betting $100 on it. But if you do, I got another. I like this one, actually. I got another one I like for a 3-leg parlay for us to give it to you guys here. Okay, so before we do anything else, here's the order. I'm going to tell you about the fundraiser, then I'm going to give you 2 picks, then I'm going to tell you about Omaha Steaks, and then I'm going to give you the parlay. All right, so that's the order of the podcast here today to give you a little bit of a ground rule. If you're watching on YouTube, yes, I look like a crossing guard today. I wanted to try this out to see what this is going to look like. This is my my spring running attire. So I'm wearing it for the podcast. I look like a crossing guard. It's pretty funny. I would go watch it on YouTube to see what I'm wearing. You'd probably get a kick out of it and laugh on the BettingPros YouTube channel. So where are we on the fundraiser? Okay, today's Friday. Friday and Saturday. All right. We'll leave it open on Sunday, most likely, to go the full to the end of the weekend, but 2 or 3 days left. Okay. We are 116 orders short. Okay. So we're so close to getting to $5,000. We've had 224 orders and 160 orders have been donated. $1,600 has been donated to local chapters and the national chapter of the Ronald McDonald House. We are getting so close. Here's the thing. If you've not received an invoice yet from TJ and Cecilia at Sweet C's Bakery, check your spam. Okay, it's very important to get these things paid. Okay, we got a bunch of invoices that are out. I think it's over 40 invoices that are out that are unpaid. We need to get those invoices paid because we need to give you guys the cookies and we need to go ahead and give the money to the charity. So that's important. Okay, as we wrap this whole thing up, it's very, very important. Okay, so invoice, please pay. If you've not ordered, please do. Sweet C, letter C, S, sweetcsbakery.com. Go and order your $20. Half of that goes to $20 order. Half of that goes to the Ronald McDonald House as we try to raise $5,000 for 5 million listens. That's 500 orders. Okay. So we are progressing really nicely. We should get there, but I'm asking you, please help us get to this goal to raise the $5,000. It would be so freaking cool for us to raise $5,000 for the Ronald McDonald House for a second consecutive year. So please help us do that. Sweet C's, C, letter C, S, bakery.com. TJ and Cecilia, diehard Juice listeners, they are so incredible to do this for us. To basically stop their business, to make cookies, to raise money. It's incredible. So we're so thankful. You guys were so great. You slept on their website for a while. So if you couldn't get into their website, it's available now. It's up. Please, please, please go ahead and do that so we can process the orders and then we can get all the orders out next week and you guys can have your cookies coming up for next week. So that's kind of how it's going to go, right? Order for a week, then they can make all the cookies and send them out fast so you guys can have them coming up for next week. So Sweet C's, letter C, S, bakery.com. Okay, so let's talk about 2 plays. First play in the NBA is an ad. I'm just going to keep on fading the Lakers every game. We're just going to bet against the Lakers every game. Toronto's at home. They're laying 8.5 points. Toronto at home this year is 16-16 ATS. I don't care. The Lakers are 13-19 ATS. The Lakers are 28-41. The Lakers are 2-8 over their last 10 ATS, 1-4 over the last 5, and they haven't covered in the last 3 games, and it's been absolutely ugly. Losses by 20, 11, and 29 points. They have lost 5 of 6. They have lost 9 of 11 games. They are broken upon broken, and they're going to Toronto, where the Raptors have been hot. The Raptors have covered 5 straight games, 6 of the last 4, and they're just coming off of a beatdown of the Lakers, where they won by 11 points as 4.5-point favorites. Now they're 8.5-point favorites at home, and they're going to win this game by double digits. Why? Because when the Lakers come to town, Toronto wants to go out there and show out. Scottie Barnes was awesome in the first matchup. I'm going back to the well here again, okay? Half a unit, Toronto, minus 8.5 at home against the Lakers. I'm not going to overthink it all that much. I'm just going to go ahead and jump on in here. Toronto, minus 8.5 at home against the Lakers for a half a unit. Next bet. Did you guys see what happened when some of the teams that played in the first 4 had to then quickly turn around and fly and play again? It's not easy. Notre Dame is going from Ohio to San Diego, California to play to play Alabama, rather. Notre Dame, 9 consecutive games have gone over for the Irish. 9. They don't play defense. They just don't. Away from home, they're now 12-6 ATS. Last game, in the game against Rutgers, went over by 42 points. It was a 134 total, final score 89-87. Game before that, Vatek, it was 132.5. Game went over by 32 points. Okay. Last 5 games from Alabama have all gone over. Okay. Alabama over the last 10, 7-3 to the over. Over against Vanderbilt by 9.5. Over against LSU by 3 points. Over against A&M by 7 points. Over against South Carolina by 7 points. That's 154, 151, 154, 148.5. Total tonight, 152. Bama hits threes. Notre Dame doesn't play defense, but they can score. Bama gives up points. I said this right after the game was over. Bet the over, Alabama Irish. Bet the over, Alabama and Notre Dame. Over 152 for a half a unit. Okay? Those are the 2 ads for us here onto the card. That gives us, again, 7 plays going into the day. The parlay is still to come. Before we get to the parlay, let me tell you about Omaha Steaks, and you guys going to omahasteaks.com, enter the promo code JUICE, or enter JUICE into the search bar, and you guys will be able to save 50% off the Omaha Steaks sampler. You get 12 Omaha Steak burgers for free when you do that. For a limited time, they do have the game day assortment package, which is available right now for all the basketball games you're going to be watching over the next couple of weeks. Look, a couple of you liked the recipe I gave out last night, so I thought I might give you a little more detail into the recipe. It's how I make steaks personally. So if you go ahead and get the fillets are thick, but they're small. Sometimes you get a thicker cut of meat. Sometimes it's a little bit quicker or longer, depending on how your oven is. But a reverse sear is pretty easy. You salt and pepper the steak, either side. Set your oven at 275. Then go ahead and throw your steak on a grate with tin foil underneath. Okay, so put tin foil down underneath a cookie pan. Put a grate, put like a cooling rack or something along those lines. Stick your steak on it, pop it in for 275 for about 30 minutes to 40 minutes, depending on if you have a really thick New York strip, maybe it takes 45 minutes to an hour, but it goes to basically an internal temperature of 125 to 135, depending on how well you want your steak to be done. I tend to go to 130. You pull it off, you throw it in a pan with olive oil, screaming hot pan for 2 minutes on either side, drop some butter, drop some garlic in there. You can do a little French bath on the steak, pull it off, let it rest for 10 minutes, cut against the grain, and it's perfect. Every single time. It's perfect. I love it. Reverse searing is an incredible way of cooking steak. You haven't done it before? Absolutely go ahead, go do it. And do it with the Omaha Steaks. It's a great time to do it. omahasteaks.com, juice in the search bar. You get the sampler, 50% off. plus the Omaha steak burgers, 12 of those for free. Use those fillets. You get the desserts, 100%, satisfaction guaranteed, safely to your doorstep. Go to omahasteaks.com, type in the keyword juice in the search bar today. Get the game day assortment package, which is available right now for a limited time. Omaha Steaks, leader in gourmet steaks and food since 1917. No one, and I mean nobody, comes close to matching flavor, tenderness, and the value of Omaha Steaks. Go to omahasteaks.com, keyword juice. Finally, the parlay, which hit last week, plus 600 parlay. I'm going to do a basketball parlay, all right? First bet, we're taking Houston, minus 8.5. I think Houston's going to have their way with UAB. UAB is a team that I think is going to struggle here against the defense for Houston. I lean towards the under in this game too at 136, but I think Houston, they can get hot. They got hot in the tournament, in the conference tournament. I'm a little scared of that 136, but we're going to go with Houston, UAB. I'm going to lay the 8.5 points. First leg, Houston, minus 8.5. Second leg, Wright State and Arizona. Total is 157. Don't care. Over 157, Wright State and Arizona. We had Wright State and Bryant. That game went over. Arizona's going to score a ton of points. You want to bet? You can. I can't bet it yet because it's not up yet. But Arizona team total, bet over Arizona team total if you want to get another one. And the third leg of the parlay to make it a plus 600 parlay is going to go with the over for Auburn and Jacksonville State at 137. I think Auburn very easily could wind up scoring 70 points by themselves here, maybe even 80 points. I think this game, 85, it's not incredibly impossible for Auburn here to go and run the score up pretty big. 137. Don't think Jacksonville State scores very much. Minus 16. Over 137.5 for Auburn and Jacksonville State. Okay, 3-leg parlay. I don't always say this, but I do like this. I think this is going to hit. Houston minus 8.5. Over Wright State, Arizona, 157, and over 137.5 for Jacksonville State and Auburn. That is our Don't Bet a Parlay, which is now 2-6 all time since coming back a couple weeks ago. Okay, so Toronto minus 8.5, half a unit. We're going over Alabama and Notre Dame. That number is 152. The parlay, which is Houston minus 8.5, Wright State, Arizona over 157, and Jacksonville State, Auburn over 137.5 for the Don't Bet a Parlay. Plus the 5 other bets that are on the Monday edition of the Daily Juice podcast for the March Madness Spectacular. So that's a lot of plays. It's a lot of content. Go back and listen to that Monday podcast if you want the plays for today here on a Friday in the opening round. 3-2 day 1. Let's have another good day here with official plays for us for the Daily Juice podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me on Twitter @SportsTalkMatt. It's the Daily Juice podcast, always being brought to you by BetMGM.